Hello everyone, this is Professor Pawan Shonkar and I welcome you in 50th lecture of Mechanics of Material, and today we are starting new unit, unit number 6, that is a deflection of beam. So in this unit we'll study deflection for different beam with a different type of loading. Okay, first of all, for introduction part, if a beam carries uniformly distributed load or a point load, we have seen number of types of loading, that is a point load, UDL, UVL, that is a uniformly distributed load, and uniformly varying load. Okay, so whatever load is subjected to that beam get deflected. Okay, so in diagram you can see beam position before loading. Here there is no load, and when load is applied at the center or the mid span, so it get deflected by this much amount. Okay, so beam shape is changed now, it is curved now. Okay, so when beam is deflected, this much distance is known as deflection, denoted by y. At the angle or the slope at which it is deflected is known as slope of deflection, angle of deflection, whatever. Okay, W is a load. Got it? So two terms we have seen here. This is y is deflection, that is a distance, and theta is slope or the angle of deflection. So when beam is deflected, you can find out the deflection as well as the angle of deflection and the radius of curvature. So when beam is deflected, so it get a shape of some curve. So suppose this is the center O of this curve and this is the imaginary radius. So R will be the radius of curvature. Okay, R will denote as radius of curvature for current condition. So we have seen in SFD and BMD, shear force and bending moment diagram unit number 2, that pure bending equation. So pure bending equation was M by I is equal to sigma by Y is equal to E by R, where M is bending moment, I is moment of inertia, sigma is bending stress, Y is a distance from neutral axis. Like initially beam is at a straight position, this is a neutral position, and then beam get deflected by this amount. So Y is a distance between deflected and neutral position. Okay, then E is a Young's modulus, and R is radius of curvature of that beam when it is deflected. So radius of curvature can be found out like if we compare these two terms, like M by I is equal to E by R. So R equal to, we can easily find out, R will be E into I by M. Okay, so in this way we can find out the radius of curvature or any term which is missing. So here same part is given. Radius of curvature of deflected beam is given by equation, that is M by I is equal to E by R, and the radius of curvature will be constant if R equal to I into E by M. So this is the relation for radius of curvature. Okay, the term I into E by M will be constant if the beam is subjected to constant bending moment. Correct? If bending moment is constant, remaining term will be the constant, that is the radius of curvature will be constant. It means that beam for which when loaded, value of E into I by M is constant will bend in a circular arc, because remaining term, that is a moment of inertia and Young's modulus, these are the material properties, and the beam in area will be the constant throughout, no issue. So if bending moment is constant, then radius of curvature will be constant. That means definitely your beam will deflect in a circular manner. If bending moment is varying, so you will not get a bend shape like curve. So only two terms are responsible for constant bending, that is a bending moment and radius of curvature. So figure shows that position before any load is applied on the beam, whereas figure B shows beam position after loading. So initially beam is straight, when loading is applied either point load or uniformly distributed load or uniformly varying load. So when load is applied, it will get bent in curvature. So three terms we have seen. Y is what? Deflection. Okay, this could be the Y, this amount. Then theta is slope or angle of deflection, this one, that is a theta, and this is a R, radius of curvature. Okay, so R will be radius of curvature. Clear? So this was the introduction part. Now we will directly see the relation between slope, deflection and radius of curvature. This one. So for this we have considered one diagram in which AB is deflected beam. We have seen the deflection like this. This was the deflection. This was the neutral position of beam AB. Beam get deflected from this to this point. Okay, so suppose AB is a deflection. Let curve AB represents the deflection of beam as shown in figure A. Okay, consider a small portion PQ of this beam. Okay, so we have to consider only small portion of that beam, this much portion PQ. So we have considered only this portion PQ. Let the tangent at P and Q make an angle phi and phi plus del phi with the x-axis. Okay, so let the tangent, so tangent is to be drawn at point P and at point Q from x-axis. So this is your x-axis. So from x-axis and at point P you should draw a tangent. So we have drawn one tangent here. From point P is passing and tangent to the curve PQ. Similarly, we need to draw tangent at point Q from x-axis. So if this is a curve, we have drawn one tangent again, which is passing through point Q and tangent to the curve PQ. So angle with x-axis of tangent at P is phi, or whatever the notation they use, like this notation phi. Okay, and this angle is somewhat bigger than the initial phi, that is a phi plus del phi. Okay, now next portion. At point P and at point Q we have drawn tangent from x-axis. So let us draw the normal perpendicular to the tangent from point P and point Q. Okay, so let we have done this. Normal at P and Q will meet at C such that, so draw normal to this tangent, perpendicular to the tangent. So from point P we have drawn this, and from Q perpendicular to this tangent, so we have drawn this, and it is intersecting at point C. Okay, so CP and CQ denotes the radius of that curve. This curve is what? DS. Name is given as a DS. So CQ and CP will be the radius. So CP or PC or QC is a radius of curvature. Got it? Now the point C is known as the center of curvature, agreed, of the curve PQ. So C will be the center and CP and CQ will be the radius of curvature. Let length PQ is equal to DS. Length PQ, this arc PQ is denoted as a DS. So we just give the name to this curve DS. From figure we see that angle PCQ, this angle is taken as d phi, del phi. Okay, so if CPQ is taken as a del phi, then PQ is equal to DS equal to, now area of this curve PQ, angle कितना है? del phi, radius कितनी है? R. So what will the area for this sector Yes, we call it as a sector. So area of this sector will be radius into angle. So r into that angle, r into del phi. So r equal to ds by del phi. So we got here a relation for a radius of curvature. So take it as equation number 1. Got it? We have found area for this curve PQ. So area PQ or the ds equal to radius into angle r into d phi. So r is equal to ds by d phi. But x and y be the coordinates of point P. Where is the point P? This. So to denote or to indicate the point P, shown it in the form of coordinates. So we have considered this triangle. This is a point P, this is a point Q. Actually this is a curve, but for the sake of calculation we have taken it as a straight line. So this is a angle of 90 and this angle is what? Phi. Now tan phi, look at this triangle PQ. So on x-axis we have taken as a dx, on y-axis this is taken as a dy. We don't know the length of this portion, so on x-axis we have taken amount of x, that is dx and dy accordingly. This is a q. Now if we calculate tan phi will be tan theta is opposite by adjacent, so tan phi is a dy by dx. Okay, got it? Now if we calculate a sin phi, so sin phi will be opposite by hypotenuse. What is hypotenuse? It is a curve denoted as a ds. So sin phi is equal to dy by ds. Sin phi equal to dy by ds. Got it? And cos phi equal to adjacent, that is dx by hypotenuse, that is ds. So dx by ds. Cos phi is dx by ds. Got it? So radius of curvature is what? ds by d phi. Tan phi is dy by dx. Accordingly sin phi and cos phi we have determined. Now equation 1 can be written as, we have considered equation 1, r is equal to ds by d phi. So ds by d phi, and we adjust dx in a numerator and in denominator. So ds by dx by d phi by dx, we just adjust it. For what sake? To adjust one term here. So because we know dx by ds is what? Cos phi. So ds by dx is will be 1 by cos phi. So in the numerator the term is 1 by cos phi, by denominator term is as it is d phi by dx. Okay, so d phi by dx. Further r is equal to 1 by cos theta is what? Sec theta. So sec phi by d phi by dx as it is. Okay. Next, differentiating equation 2 with respect to x. What is our equation number 2? Equation 2 is tan phi is equal to dy by dx. Now we need to derive this equation with respect to x. So tan theta or tan x, derivative of tan x is sec square theta or sec square x. So here angle is phi, so sec square phi, and for phi d phi by dx. This is the derivation of tan phi with respect to x. So sec square phi into d phi by dx. And what is the derivative of dy by dx? That is a d2y by dx square, double derivative. So now, so d phi by dx is given as d2y by dx square by sec square phi. Okay, now substituting this value of d phi by dx in equation 3, we get, what is our equation number 3? Actually we need to calculate the radius of curvature. So take it as equation number 3, r is sec phi by d phi by dx. Here we will put up value of d phi by dx, what is we have calculated recently. So r is sec phi by d phi by dx. So equation number 3 will be r equal to sec phi by d phi by dx value is d2y by dx square. This value d phi by dx value is d2y by dx square by sec square phi. So sec phi by d2y by dx square by sec square phi. So this term will come in numerator. So sec phi into sec square phi. Okay, so that is a sec cube phi by d2y by dx square. It will be sec cube phi by d2y by dx square. Now taking the reciprocal to the both side, we get reciprocal of this equation. Okay, r equal to sec cube phi by d2y by dx square. So reciprocal will be 1 by r equal to d2y by dx square by sec cube phi. So 1 by r is equal to d2 phi by dx square by sec cube phi. Now we are adjusting this sec cube phi in terms of sec square phi. Why? Because we know formula of sec square theta. So sec square theta is 1 plus tan square theta. That's why we have adjusted sec cube phi as a sec square phi to the power 3 by 2. So that look here, since sec cube theta equal to sec square theta to the power 3 by 2, so that this square and denominator 2 will get cancelled and what remains sec cube theta again. That's why we just adjusted our sec cube theta as a sec square phi to the power 3 by 2. So and the formula for sec square phi will be 1 plus tan square phi. So d2y by dx square by 1 plus tan square phi to the power 3 by 2. Okay, final term. Now for the practical beam, slope tan phi at any point is a very small quantity, hence tan square phi can be neglected. Which angle we have taken as a slope? This was our phi. Okay, so this, if this angle is very small, okay, so tan phi equal phi equal to tan phi, and that value is very less, so we can consider this value as a 0 if this angle is very small. So we have considered that this angle is very small, that's why we can neglect that bigger term tan square something, tan square phi. Okay, that could be taken directly as a 0. So 1 by r equal to d2y by dx square by 1 plus tan square phi was 0. See here, d2y by dx square as it is by 1 plus this 0. So 1 raised to 3 by 2, that is a 1. Power of anything, power of 1, any power of 1 is 1. Okay, so d2y by dx square only. So here we can write 1 by r equal to d2y by dx square. Now from bending equation we have, what was the equation? M by I is equal to E by R. So here we know the value 1 by r, so try to get value like 1 by r. So 1 by r and E get into numerator, so M by E I. So 1 by r is equal to M by E I, like this. Now 1 by r is what? d2y by dx square. So M by I is equal to d2y by dx square, and hence bending moment M is equal to EI d2y by dx square. This is a value for, or the equation for bending moment or maximum bending moment. M is equal to E into I d2y by dx square. And differentiating above equation with respect to x, so differentiating M, dm by dx, E and I are the constant, so EI equal to d2y by dx square, derivative is d cube y by dx square, because with respect to x we need to derive again, so d cube y by dx cube. So and in SFT and BMD we have seen the relation of load, shear force and bending moment. and in that case we have seen dm by dx, rate of change of bending moment with respect to x, was shear force, that is F. Okay, again one more term we have seen, that was rate of change of shear force with respect to x was loading or rate of loading. These two terms we have seen in second unit, that is shear force and bending moment. Third unit, so dm by dx is what? Shear force. So dm by dx is ei dqy by dx square, dx cube. So if you taken dm by dx as a f, so f equal to ei dqy by dx cube. So this is the equation for shear force. Okay, and again derivating this equation with respect to x, what we will get? Differentiating equation this, differentiating f with respect to x is ei, equation was dqy by dx cube. So again derivative of this equation is d raised to 4 y by dx raised to 4, and rate of change of shear force with respect to x is loading. Again we have seen this term in SFD and BMD. So this part can be replaced by w, that is rate of loading equal to ei d4y by dx raised to 4. So this is the equation for loading. So we have seen different equations for different parameters. First of all we have considered y, that is a deflection. Then slope is dy by dx. Then we calculate equation for bending moment. This is a deflection, this is a slope, that is a theta equal to bending moment m equal to ei d2y by dx square. Again derivating equation of bending moment with respect to x, we got shear force dm by dx is equal to f. Shear force is derivative of this equation, so we got ei dqy by dx cube. So shear force is ei dqy by dx cube, and again derivating same equation with respect to x, we got rate of loading, that is a w equal to ei d4y by dx raised to 4. Got it? So this much parameters or the terms we have found out, and the units for above quantities. Y is what? Deflection, that is mm. Here y is taken as mm. Then theta either in degree or radian, generally we used in radian. Then a bending moment m is force into distance, that is Newton meter or Newton mm. Force is only in Newton. Rate of loading w is in again Newton. Then E is taken in Newton per mm square, Young's modulus value, and I is in mm raised to 4. X is what? X is distance, simply the position of bending from the support, that is either can be taken in mm or meter. Okay, so it is just a distance. So this is the derivation. Okay, so we'll stop here. In next lecture we will see some numericals for this topic. Thank you.